Kathy Bates, her name alone commands respect, power, and emotion. The kind of name that makes audiences pause and remember the countless moments she made them laugh, cry, and feel something real. And today we look at the woman behind that name, the powerhouse who's faced pain and triumph, and who now opens up about her battles and the strength that keeps her standing. If you've ever watched Misery, Titanic, or American Horror Story, you already know her talent is unmatched. But behind those unforgettable performances lies a story of endurance, resilience, and faith that very few could carry. With the grace she has, Kathy Bates wasn't supposed to become Hollywood royalty. She was told she wasn't pretty enough, that her voice was too deep, her body too different, her energy too strong for the leading lady roles. But she didn't listen. She didn't back down. She took every no and turned it into fuel for a bigger yes. Can you imagine what that takes in an industry obsessed with perfection? Tell me in the comments if you've ever been told you're not enough, because this woman proves that what they say doesn't define who you become. Her journey began on Broadway, where she honed her craft, fought through rejection, and learned that true art comes from truth itself. And when Hollywood finally opened the door, she stormed through it like a force of nature. Then came Misery, the role that would define her career and earn her an Oscar. The world saw Annie Wilkes, but Kathy saw a chance to show the world her depth, her darkness, her brilliance. That performance wasn't just acting, it was transformation. Raw, fearless, unforgettable. And while she stood there clutching that golden statue, she couldn't have known what battles life was quietly preparing for her. Years later came the first diagnosis: ovarian cancer. The words no one ever wants to hear. Can you picture that moment, sitting in a sterile hospital room, hearing that your body is at war with itself? Yet she didn't crumble. She didn't hide. She fought with everything she had: chemotherapy, pain, sleepless nights. But she came out stronger, and when she beat it, she thought the storm was over. She thought she'd finally earned peace. But fate wasn't done testing her not long after she would face breast cancer. Another devastating blow. Two battles, two wars, one body, and yet she smiled through it all. She once said, "I'm lucky to be alive." And those words carry more power than most people realize, because when you've faced death twice, you learn what life really means. She underwent a double mastectomy. She lost not just her breasts, but parts of her old identity. But Kathy Bates doesn't measure beauty in appearance. She measures it in strength, in survival, in scars that tell a story. She said she didn't feel sorry for herself because pity doesn't heal. It's courage that does. Can you feel that her strength isn't just physical? It's spiritual. It's the kind of quiet power that can move mountains. And through it all, she's never stopped working, never stopped inspiring. She turned her pain into purpose and became a voice for others battling the same struggles. She began to speak out about lymphedema, a chronic condition caused by her surgeries that affects the lymphatic system. It causes swelling, pain, and discomfort, something she lives with every single day. Imagine living your life in constant discomfort, but still showing up, still performing, still smiling. She said she wears compression sleeves on set, hidden beneath costumes while filming American Horror Story, and that sometimes the pain is unbearable. But she refuses to let it define her. She refuses to give up. And that's why this story isn't about tragedy, it's about triumph. It's about how one woman can face the worst and still shine through it. She's become an advocate for awareness and research, working with the Lymphatic Education and Research Network, using her fame to educate the world, because she knows millions suffer in silence. She said, "I don't want to just survive, I want to live." And that message echoes far beyond Hollywood. If you're watching this right now, maybe you're going through something too. Maybe your battle looks different. But Kathy's story is proof that no matter how dark it gets, you can find light again. Drop a heart in the comments if her courage inspires you, because stories like hers remind us what real strength looks like. Her career didn't slow down even after all she endured, from The Office to Richard Jewell, from Dolores Claiborne to her unforgettable turns in American Horror Story. She reinvented herself again and again. Her characters often mirror her truth. Tough, unapologetic women who've been through hell but refuse to break. And maybe that's why audiences connect to her so deeply. She doesn't fake emotion. She lives it. Every frame, every word carries the weight of her experience. But what makes her story even more beautiful is her humility. She's never chased fame. She's chased meaning. She says what drives her now isn't awards or applause, but the hope that her work can help someone feel less alone. She's learned to find joy in simplicity, in family, in laughter and being present, because when you've stood face to face with mortality, you stop chasing the noise and start cherishing the silence. So what do we take from this? Maybe it's that life is fragile, but it's also fierce, that beauty isn't about perfection, it's about perseverance. Maybe it's that even when your body betrays you, your spirit can still rise above it. Kathy Bates proves that aging isn't fading, it's deepening. She wears her years like armor. Every wrinkle a story, every scar, a badge of honor, and she's still here, still thriving, still fighting. She's a reminder that we can't control what happens to us, but we can control how we face it. And if she can keep going after everything she's faced, then so can you. Tell me in the comments what part of her journey touches you most. Because this isn't just a Hollywood story, it's a human one. It's about pain and power loss and love. It's about looking at yourself in the mirror after everything you've endured and saying, I'm still here. And that's exactly what Kathy Bates does every single day. She reminds us that surviving isn't enough, that we're meant to live, to fight, to feel, to love. And as she continues her work both on screen and off, she stands not as a victim, but as a victor, someone who's turned pain into purpose and fear into faith. So the next time you see her name on screen, remember what it represents. Not just talent, but triumph. Not just an actress, but a warrior. And if you ever find yourself on the edge, ready to give up, think of her. Think of that strength, that fire that refuses to die, because Kathy Bates is living proof that the human spirit is unbreakable. And that's why she'll always be more than a legend. She'll be a light for anyone who needs to believe again. And even now, as cameras keep rolling and scripts keep finding their way to her desk, Kathy Bates never forgets why she keeps doing it. She says acting gives her a reason to get up every day, a reason to push through the pain, because purpose is stronger than fear. And if you've ever battled something invisible, you know exactly what she means. Drop a comment if you've ever had to smile through pain, because that's the quiet heroism she lives with every day. She spends her time offset, raising awareness, traveling to conferences and speaking directly to patients who think their lives are over. She tells them it's not over, it's just different, and that message lands with a kind of weight. Only someone who has been there can deliver. Her honesty has changed lives. Her openness has brought a hidden illness into the light. And that's not just courage, that's compassion. And when you look at her filmography, you see a pattern. She gravitates towards stories of survivors, of people who fight back, of women who refuse to disappear, from Dolores Claiborne's defiance to Ethel Darling's dignity in American Horror Story. Kathy has always chosen roles that mirror resilience, and maybe that's because she understands it from the inside. She said once that after cancer, she stopped worrying about what people think. She just wanted to tell the truth through her characters. And that truth hits hard. It's what makes audiences lean in, hold their breath, maybe even wipe away a tear. If you've ever been moved by one of her performances, hit that like button right now, because she deserves every ounce of love the world can give her. And still, she stays humble. She laughs at herself. She says she's just grateful to still be working in her 70s. And that gratitude radiates from her like light. She often jokes that surviving Hollywood is harder than surviving cancer. But she means it with humor, not bitterness. She knows the industry changes fast, that it forgets people quickly, but she also knows legacy isn't about trends. It's about truth, and hers is already written in gold. She's worked with legends, directed her own films, mentored younger actors, and used every platform she has to make a difference. One of her proudest moments, she said, was being named spokesperson for the Lymphatic Education and Research Network. Because it gave her pain a purpose, she speaks openly about the compression garments she wears and how they remind her every day that life is fragile, but also precious. Can you imagine the strength it takes to live with that awareness constantly and still show up to set, still deliver the kind of performances that leave audiences stunned? She does it not because it's easy, but because she believes stories heal. She believes laughter and tears are medicine. And maybe that's why she's still here, still creating, still fighting. When asked what she wants her fans to remember her, for she said kindness and courage. That's it, two simple words that say everything. And maybe that's the message we all need right now, that no matter what we're fighting, we can face it with kindness and courage. If you agree, type those two words in the comments. Let's fill the feed with them. Because her story is our reminder that strength us